Hey there YouTube, Hopper here. It is Friday, August the 5th, and today, excuse me, it's now Saturday, August the 6th, and anyway, today I'd like to show you some old technology that I have. Before iOS was around and before we had iPads, Androids, iPhones, all that good stuff, there was something else that used to exist. We called it a PDA. And this is an example of one of them. This is my old Palm III. If you didn't know, before Palm was Palm, they were actually called 3Com. So, yeah, this was one of the first Palms. This is an infrared sensor here. This is the stylus. This ran off, I think, 2 AAAs? Yeah, it looks like it. I don't have any batteries in there because this actually doesn't function properly anymore. The old reset dongle. This is the contrast slider because this is a black and white screen. If you flip this up, this is the graffiti reference. What that was is it's a sort of like modification of handwriting recognition, where instead of writing out full letters, you write out these kind of, you know, modified letters instead. You can pop this off, but this is what the screen looked like. This is where you would write letters and numbers, or you could tap the little dots to bring up keyboard or numpad, add apps, menu, calculator and find. This was date book, I believe phone, well, phone numbers. This wasn't actually a phone. This was to do, that was memo pad. This is the power, sleep, wake, and backlight button. And of course, you got scroll. So this was a touch screen. So as I said, unfortunately, this no longer works right. But instead, I do have another Palm, a slightly newer one. This is its case, which it came with. I bought this while I was living in Philly in a thrift store off of South Street. This was $15. It came with a ton of software, a wireless card, which is what this is, this case, and its original box. It was a great deal, and as someone who is interested in old technology, and as someone who did, of course, have a Palm, this was something that I just couldn't pass up because it was a great deal, and it worked. Save for the battery, which couldn't hold a charge. I replaced that myself earlier this year. So if you open it up, this is what the case looks like. Since this will accept SD cards or expansion cards, which is this, you have 2 slots for them. This is just the little dust cover that it ships with. The previous owner ripped this out so that the Wi-Fi card would fit. This is it here. For the most part, it really has not changed over the year, except 3Com is now Palm I. This is a Tungsten T5. That's a color screen. And instead of a scroll bar, you kind of have this navigational dongle here. Up, down, left, right, select. Got your home button, date book, contacts, and files, because you can use this as a USB mass storage device. So let me pop this out of the case here to show you what it looks like. So you have key lock activated, and actually let me just set this over to the side. So this is just held in here by a little piece of plastic down here. All you do is you just slide it up and out, and then the case here has the graffiti reference as well. Hasn't changed at all since the Palm III. Well, to an extent it has, but you can still use the same old characters. Those special characters. Little griddle here for the speaker that it has. So if we close that and set it aside, put the Wi-Fi card back in. One thing about this Wi-Fi card is that because it's so old, it only supports unsecured or WEP secured access points. You cannot use WPA or WPA2 on it. So over here we have, of course, the wonderful stylus. This is actually made of metal. Got some information on the back. That says Palm powered. There it goes. Got the reset still. So this again is the slot where you could like attach to a case. This is the pin connector and power. What that is used for is it's used for the docking station, which is this here. This has a light on because I have it plugged into a power outlet, so that's showing that it's got power going to it. This is the hot sync button. Hot sync is how you would sync a Palm with your computer. The other thing this does have is it does have an audio port, so you could plug speakers into it and enjoy music on there, because this does have a music player. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just do a soft reset of this so you can see what it looks like if you were to start it up. One of the things that Palm has always done, or well, did when they were still Palm, I can't vouch for them now that they're HP. If you unscrew the top of a stylus, you get a nifty little reset tool. So as you can see, there's a little part that sticks out here. I just simply flip it over, tap reset, back over. There's the PalmIII screen and loading bar. That starts up really fast. Palm powered. Tungsten. Nope, and I have apparently it locked on me. So the way you can do a lock screen with the Palm is enter combination using the joystick here, or I believe you can also have a text password. I use the joystick because I have a little fun with it. That since it does show it, I'll cancel out of that. So this is the preferences screen, which is what you'd see if you do a reset, although usually it's on the date and time to have you confirm it. So that looks good. Here's the pop-up touchscreen keyboard. You can just hide that by tapping that down there. So down at the bottom, this is kind of like your little status bar. You've got home, search, menu. This is time as well as brightness, battery, and available memory. Down here, this is the little alerts thing. Well, I tapped the Bluetooth since it's literally right next to it. So you can turn that on and off. This does have Bluetooth built in. This little icon here is the Write Anywhere icon, so you can just draw all over the place to start doing letters. That's the pop-up keyboard button. This one here switches it to landscape format, so you can see the status bar. It's now on the right side. Up here is always the name, well, usually always the name of the application you're currently in. Give the tap and it'll bring up the menu. So, like for instance, about preferences. So as you can see, this is from the 2000s. Let me flip this back over here. It's regular. There we go. So this is my favorite screen. The home screen doubles as that. The way you can swap between them is just tap the home button. So this is the regular application screen. I have personalized this a bit, but you've got quick tour, add it. What that is it shows like software that's available. You can say you want to download it, and then the next time you hot sync, it's supposed to add it. Since this is no longer supported, that doesn't actually work anymore. You have Adobe Reader Mobile, Bluetooth preferences, calculator, calendar, card info. I'll show you what that does. That just gives you the information about the cards in here, so like the internal memory card. This uses flash storage. And then here's the Wi-Fi card. Close out of that. So you also have contacts, dialer. What you could do back in the day, this doesn't support newer phones unfortunately, is you could pair this via Bluetooth with your phone, so you could actually use this as a dialer. This would also show you if you've got like calls coming in, texts and stuff like that. This is documents to go. This doesn't actually come with it, but it allows you to edit office documents. drive mode. This makes this show up literally. It's just a USB flash drive. E-reader, expenses, favorites, which again is just that. You got files, which allows you to just see all the files on here. If you have a SD card, it would show up in here as well. So as you can see, this is organized very much like the Mac OS. So move down again. I think this is a golf game. There's Hot Sync. This is an IBM Java applet, so I can run like Java-based things. Keyboard, I have an infrared wireless keyboard that I still have packed away somewhere. I haven't actually unpacked it yet, so can't show you that unfortunately because I don't know where it is. The manual, media, this is photos and videos. So this is like what a photo looks like. This is the one that I have as my home background. And what else is on here? Memos, notepad, preferences, real player. This does play music in MP3 format. It's like just, this is one of the tracks that it comes with. And actually, you know what the heck, leave it playing. Switch back to the home screen and it'll keep playing in the background. SMS, again, if you were to pair this with the phone, you could send and receive text messages just using the Palm. There's Solitaire, Tasks, this is the mail client, wonderful old internet browser, Wi-Fi setup and world clocks. You know what, let me show you the Wi-Fi setup. So I can show you what the internet is like on here. This is found some of my wireless networks. This actually isn't in range. I don't know why it shows that. I guess just because I've previously connected to it. So I'll go ahead and select push socks. That's my default network. So there we go. Has a very weak signal right now because my door is closed. Let me see if I can actually get a better signal. There we go. And since this is an external antenna, this will actually bounce around like crazy. If I just like touch it, this antenna reacts very similar to how the iPhone 4 did when there was the antenna gate issue. It's like if I completely cover it, which is kind of difficult to do one-handed. In fact, I can't actually do it one-handed, but if I completely cover it up, that signal would drop all the way. So, now that that is set up, go back home. In fact, let's switch to favorites. So what favorites does is it just lets you select like your favorite apps. So I have apps, documents, photos, videos, music, a bunch of other stuff, and you can set up to 4 favorite home screens. So let me show you the internet on this. This uses Blazor as the default browser. So as you can see, it's like basically an old cell phone browser. This has extremely limited memory on it. As you can see, just at 162K already, it's saying the page is too large to be displayed. Because this has got graphics and stuff on it, because it's trying to go to an HP website, since of course Palm is no longer around. Let me see if I can get Google up here, one-handed. Oh yeah, at the top here, this is your back, forward, refresh. I forget what that button does actually, as the same with that one. That's home, and this one way over here, if I can tab it as favorites. Let's open up Google. So here is Google running on a Palm T5. And so you can search around on Google, but if you visit any site that's too large, it's just gonna crap out. But you can do images. And again, since this card is pretty far from my wireless access point, it does take a little bit of time to load things up. So let's search, for example, Palm. If I can type with my finger, that might actually not be possible. Come on. Yeah, you know what? I actually need the stylus for this, which means I'm going to have to type, attempt to type left-handed. That's not my handedness. There we go. Since I've already typed in Palm, it just auto-completes it for me. So tap search. And sure enough, this can use Google Images. So, yeah, it's really a neat little old device. You know, I like it. I haven't really done much with it because, again, it is unsupported, and so it's really hard to find software that does support this. In fact, I actually can't sync this really with my computer anymore because I have Lion now, and Palm Desktop is a PowerPC app, which Lion doesn't support. So one of the things that I've done but haven't tested yet is I've just installed some open source Palm syncing software in OpenSUSE, which I have in a virtual box, using VirtualBox, so in a virtual machine rather. But yeah, that's really about it. You know, it's a fun old piece of technology to play around with. Let me show you the top of the device. This is the sleep-wake button. Palm, for whatever reason, decided that you shouldn't have to ever completely power off a device. Here's a headphone jack, and if you pop out the Wi-Fi card, makes the disconnect sound, which sounds a lot like the old Windows XP device connect and unconnect sound. So, yep, there you go. An old Palm T5 and an old Palm III. That's it.